Hey y'all, Mike with Cardboard Kingdom. Welcome back to another Disney Lorcana Market Update video. Today is Thursday, the 26th of September. Happy Thursday Night Football tonight for any football enjoyers. We also have Inside Out 2 coming out here. I think it came out last night actually, which is nice. My family and I were starting to have like a little Friday night movie night with all five of us, and it's a little bit chaos. My son just turned 3, and then we have the newborn, so it's kind of just me, my wife, and my daughter enjoying the movies. My son's running around like a madman. But we just watched Inside Out, the original one, for the first time a couple of weeks ago. And then the second one came out, and we'll be watching that this week. So that's really exciting. Just lucky timing on our end. But happy Inside Out 2 for anyone who's going to be watching that. Really, really cool movie. And that has me thinking about like the future in 2026 whenever Pixar is fully integrated with Lorcana. How awesome would it be whenever these new releases come out or these new IPs have a sequel or whatever movie it is in the series, and possibly doing any sort of like promo or set release with the movie release and things like that. Like, I just think as Lorcana continues to grow and it becomes more and more of a foundation within Disney, seeing cool stuff like that would just, I mean, once again, just the possibilities with Lorcana. And some of the really, really cool promos they can do. When you think about like on the Pokemon side with some of the like Mario promos and things like that they've done, are really, really cool. And so I'm excited to see what Lorcana can do with some of those promos in the future. I think just the D23 2024 collector's box alone shows the upside of some of these. Like, if you can just give us some cool art, right? And the market will eat it up. I've been talking religiously for the last month how cool those cards are. And the market agrees. There is very, very low listings out there on a lot of those cards, which we'll take a look at today. Getting into some of the market stuff, I did want to start at the first chapter. We're still sitting around like 225 for a box. If you want to get verified, you're looking at 230. But there's quite a few available right under that 230 price. On the front page, we've got about 100 boxes available, roughly, maybe closer to 80. But still plenty available at the 220-ish number. What I will say is the sell-through rate continues to be very, very high for this product. When you look at yesterday's numbers, roughly 10 to 15 boxes. You look at the 24th, 10 boxes. 23rd goes on to the next page. So it's still a product, despite it being printed into oblivion and printed to where it's going to be worthless, et cetera, et cetera. Everything that the people will say, continues to sell at a nice premium. Continues to only be 1 year into the release, and it's a very, very hot product. So overall sales remaining consistent. You can see on the graph here, still a ton of volume. Price going up and down whenever we see these huge restocks, but I maintain once again that whenever we quit getting the Amazon refillments of this particular booster box, that's when things are gonna kind of go to the next level, if you will, and get back to the all-time highs on that front. Really, really cool product, and I think expected values for that particular box right now. Yesterday it was about $211 for the first chapter, so decent price. Like, if you're buying it for 220 and if you got expected value at 210, obviously you need to hit an enchanted to break even. That's kind of where the price is at. But if you pull an enchanted, you're gonna make money. If you don't, you're probably gonna lose a little bit. But 210 expected value on a $220 box isn't the end of the world. Just for note, Floodborne is at 110, Inklings is at 105, Urso's Return is at 75, which is up a little bit from like 70, so that's nice. And Shimmering Skies is at 91 right now. Shimmering Skies is seeing a lot of volatility. If you think about whenever it first came out, that Daisy was around $20 for a really long time, and now I think it's down. I sold a couple 2 days ago for like $6, so it's gone down by almost 60% just over the last couple of weeks. So we're still flushing out Shimmering Skies, figuring out what the meta is. Obviously, it's shifting a lot towards like Emerald and some of the older cards. But overall, Shimmering Skies 91 still holding pretty strong. I don't see it getting anywhere near the Ursula's Return side of things. There's just a lot more playable cards in the Shimmering Skies box, as well as that Mufasa remains just the chase, for many different factors there. But that's what I wanted to go over on the sealed. Last thing we'll touch on is the D23 box. Right now we're sitting at $335 all in for this product. Remember, it came out about a month and a half ago. It was $99 to acquire in person. And we're seeing constant sales at that 330 number, 315, 320, etc. So this is definitely above a $300 product now. The value inside of it continues to rise as well. We'll hop over to some of the singles and take a look at those. These cards are hot right now. There's a lot of playable cards in there, and then there's a lot of, just in my opinion, awesome collector's cards in here as well. When we look at like the Ursula, she's up to $91 for a low list for that card. So you're looking at essentially $100 card almost, for this particular 91.50 all in from an unverified, 92 from a verified. Price is just skyrocketing, right? People are continuing to buy it. You see sales at 91, 90, 82, etc. So people who waited on this card to sell are definitely being rewarded. And the thing is, guys, there's just not a lot on the market. You can see I guess there is 2 pages here in total. One listing on the second page for $225 with $5 of shipping included. But I mean, we're talking about like sub 20 of these on the entire TCGPlayer market. When we look at overall listings here, if I can get back to the main page, we are at 11 listings for this card. So just pretty crazy. Then you hop over to the next one, Oswald sitting at $90 for the lowest listing, only 9 listings on the market. And then my favorite card from the box, and I think the market is starting to agree here, only 5 listings of the Brave Little Tailor. That's absolutely insane. We have a listing with 4, we have a listing with 8, and a listing with 4, and that's the entire market. So we're talking not even 20 of the new Brave Little Tailor cards on the market, and we're 4 away from $150 floor there. Now, obviously, someone would come in and list them for 110, 120, 130, 140. So it's not a $150 card. Sorry to burst anyone's bubble there, but at the end of the day, this is a card that I think is just going to have so much collectability long term. I've talked about it. I'm not going to sit here and hammer it again. And obviously, full transparency, I own quite a few of these. I think I'm up to 10 total. I'm a huge fan of this card, but I mean, we're closing in on north of 100 for that card. Obviously, Oswald I think is pretty playable. Ursula is definitely playable. Cinderella is very playable as well. We have only 15 listings for her, $48. Obviously, kind of half the price of the original ones. But what's something I meant to mention on Mickey is like the Oswald and the Ursula are both pretty playable. Or Ursula specifically, I believe the Oswald is as well. The Brave Little Tailor, there's no decks that run the Brave Little Tailor. That's strictly a collector's card. And so that gives me a lot of hope on the collector side of things. I mean, the collectors are holding this thing up to almost $100 floor, and pretty much the collectors alone. So that's really cool to see, because so much of the market and the demand for Lorcana is around the players right now, rightfully so. And so it's cool to see just like essentially the collectors prop up a card and keep a pretty high floor for a brand new release card sitting at almost $100. That's really cool to see. Cinderella at 48 only has 15 listings. Bruno $29 only has 14 listings, and Vanellope at $29 only has 11 listings as well. So this D23 box, guys, was a major hit. The cards inside of it are awesome, right? I've said it time and time again, but the listings on these cards are very low, right? We're talking 5 listings in total for the Brave Little Tailor. Now, obviously, there are some cards in there that are there are listings in there that have multiple, but overall the box is just performing very, very well. And when we look at listings across the board, you think about especially like something like the first chapter. So many of these boxes have been printed, it's been reprinted, it's been restocked, it's been sold on Amazon. Sorry for the mic bump there. I think that's my first one though, so we're good. We're good for one. We're at our quota. We have these cards that have been printed so much, right? And there's still just such low quantities on the market. You look at Elsa, you got 23 listings, essentially at $1,000 and up. You look at Tinkerbell, she's at $375 now, lowest listing, so almost back to her all-time highs. She's got 9 listings available, despite all the reprints, despite all the restocks, all the additional boxes, all the additional cards. Everyone's saying these cards are going to be worthless, they're not collectible. Already back up to $375 and only 9 listings on the market. Carefree Surfer Stitch creeping back up to $300, 18 listings on the market. Belle Strange but Special, $240, 13 listings on the market. Maui up to $280 with only 16 listings on the market. Dude, I hate how long it takes for TCGPlayer to update their market price. It is just, I mean, it lags an insane amount. Like the market price for Maui being at $226. Maui hasn't been a $226 card for like 3 weeks. So like, why are we still there? Like the market price on this card is is a lot higher than that. It just takes so long for TCGPlayer to catch up on sales and things like that. But really, I mean, you pick your Chapter 1 Enchanted, whether it's Mickey, Maui, Belle, Stitch, Tinker, etc. Some of the less playable and less collectible ones are still have a decent amount of listings. Like when you look at Aurora, 34 listings, but she's still commanding a premium at 165, 170 there. Simba's down at 16 listings, 150. This is one that we could start to see a pretty decent run up here because there's just so few on the market. This 150 number could jump up pretty quickly here. Another card that we've seen just kind of go up slowly over time is the Along Came Zeus. Obviously a very playable enchanted. I think the art on the card is awesome. We're looking at a $140 card here. This card was available for under $100 for a really, really long time. And it's just kind of slowly seeing an uptick there up to 140, which is really cool. Champion of Sherwood holding incredibly strong at 176. That's one of the few enchantments that I've never had, never pulled. It's an awesome card, obviously extremely playable, and you're looking at a $200 for a near mint copy. So that kind of speaks to the strength of that card in a particular deck. But overall, I just think the listings are starting to get really low again. There were times where these cards had 40, 50 listings apiece, and those have just dried up. And that speaks to the continued increase in demand and volume for the game. Just the sheer amount of players and people building decks and wanting to have the cool cards, whether that's to collect, that's to include them in your shiny decks. Like if you watch any of the challenge events, you see a lot of the pro players, they run these cards in their decks, and I think that's awesome. Like I love it from a collector's point of view. Like I get it, you ought to keep it safe and sound in your graded case or your binder, whatever it is. But I love like the RMB. His initials are RMB. He's on Team Labyrinth. I follow him on Twitter. I love him. His deck, like if there's an enchanted variant of that card, he puts a playset in it and he plays with it, and I love that. As a collector and enjoyer of shiny cardboard, I love anyone who plays with enchanteds in their deck. I get it's risky, it's kind of crazy, but I love it. So shout out to RMB for his deck, his card usage. But nevertheless, getting back to some of even Rise of the Floodborn, right? Set 2, what I think is probably the least printed set in existence. We're talking about 17 listings only for the Cinderella. Lowest listing on the market is a near mint for 257. We're a couple sales away from 300. Keep in mind, guys, this card was selling for roughly around 500 pretty consistently at the beginning of this year. Yeah, like 3 of them sold for 517, or I guess it's a range there, 485 to 519, but 3 of them sold on that given time frame for over $500. So that's not unheard of for these cards, guys, as they get out of print cycles and as Lorcana continues to grow. And it's truly a market that it's not defined. We've got to see what happens here in terms of once these do finally get out of cycle and we're a year, 2, 3 years down the road, what the upside of these cards are. We've never seen an IP like Disney start a trading card game that's had this much success, has this much of a competitive scene and player base and collectors coming into it. These are uncharted territory. So once again, as a reminder, our fundamentals here: buy what you like to collect. Be patient and don't just sell because the price goes down 5% or 10% and you made a bad purchase. Obviously, if you need the capital, you need the capital, but buy what you like so that way if it goes down 5, 10, 20, 30, 40% in some cases, you're not jumping on the panic sell train like a lot of people did with the Stitch. When this Stitch first came out, the Set Championship Rockstar Stitch, it was selling for over 1,000 raw day after day after day. The floor on this card was absolutely insane for a really long time, and then it started to drop, and it's kind of evened out here. We haven't really seen much go below 300. You can get a near mint copy for 330 right now, 350, and I think those are fantastic buys. This is a card that we've seen. You're kind of catching it at the bottom here, right? We were seeing it trade once again for over 1,000 pretty consistently at the beginning. We were seeing PSA 10s go for over 4,000. You can get those for under 1,000 right now. When you think about the sheer, there's so much going for this card. The first trophy card, iconic IP, the first enchanted trophy card. It's very hard to grade, sub 50% gem mint rate, very low overall quantity. We're talking about sub 500 of these in existence. My guess is there's going to be a lot less PSA 10s of this card in existence than, for example, the Let It Go The Let It Go right now is a very, very easy to grade card. And when you look at the overall quantities of the cards that are awarded at each of these challenge events, my guess is there's going to be more Let It Go PSA 10s, and there's going to be Stitch Rockstar PSA 10s. But the Let It Go is a $700 to $1,000 card. This card you can get a near mint copy for $340, or you can go out and get a PSA 10 version right now for anywhere between $800 to $1,000. And I just think that makes so much sense. It's truly just going to be a staple of collectors long term, in my opinion, given the provenance of being the first trophy card. Just an awesome artwork. Nicholas Cole did it. It's got a lot going for it. So I'm just overall a huge fan of the Stitch. I've said that time and time again. I think that's one of the cards. I had someone comment on one of my videos yesterday asking about, like, you've said to wait on these trophy cards. When does it make sense, and specifically the Stitch? And I think the Stitch and the Ursula, any of the set championship cards, which are only those two right now, make a ton of sense. Both of those have been flushed out. They've been on the market long enough. I don't think we're going to see any significant decreases from where they are right now. The set champs Ursula is down to $85.99. It looks like. Once again, a very hard card to grade. You can get a near mint copy for $100. You've got quite a few light plates down below that. But this and the Stitch, I think, would make a lot of sense right now to buy if it's cards, once again, that you want to collect, that you think that bring you joy, that you want to have in your collection. I don't think you can go wrong at those prices. I think that those are very, very good buys right now, and cards that I would feel comfortable pulling the trigger on if I was in the market for sure. I think that's pretty much going to be it for today, guys. Overall, things are looking very, very strong. Starting to see some pretty low listed quantities on our older enchanteds. Even Artful Rogue down at 24. Should have been Brave Little Taylor. I'll go to my grave I will die on that hill. Artful Rogue should have been a Brave Little Taylor enchanted, but we at least got it in the D23 box. So I digress. But that card, the D23 Mickey, is just chef's kiss to everyone involved on that one. The whole D23 set, they just did an amazing job with that product. But man, there's some cheap enchanteds out right now. This is a great time to get into Lorcana. If you're looking for any enchanteds from like set 3, 4, and 5, there are just some really, really cheap ones that are awesome art. Very, very cool cards out there. And some of our playable ones are even bouncing back again, because Tragic Beast got down to like high 20s for a little bit, back up to 40. Rapunzel was at 50 yesterday, so back down to 42 right now. Probably some light plate if I had to guess. Nope. Near mint, but a couple sales away from back up to 50. The market is just remaining so strong for Lorcana, and there's a lot of plays to be made right now without a doubt. So shout out to everybody in Lorcana. It's an amazing time. Hopefully you guys are having as much fun as I am. If you have not hopped in the Discord, we've got a huge community in there. It's growing, and everyone's sharing. Get in there, share your collection, share your goals. We want to hear about it. Love looking at what everyone else is collecting, and seeing kind of what your next goal is, or what you've picked up most recently, your favorite card, etc. Love sharing that. It's a great place to talk about collecting Lorcana if that is what you're into. Obviously not as much of the meta talk a few of us play, but definitely not the most competitive scene in terms of the Discord. There's definitely some better ones for that, but we do have the collecting space on lock. So feel free to join if you have not already, and we will be back with another video soon. Bye, guys.